Yes people, welcome back to the Knots Bench. It's been ages since we've been here, but I've got a bit of faulty hardware in the Knots cave that needs sorting out. Can anyone remember the Ultra Dreamcast we made a few years ago? Dreamcast. Well, the controller ports across the front have developed a fault and the LED doesn't work properly all the time. And that's something to do with the fact that this controller board has had about 5 different LEDs in it. And I think I've lifted some of the tracers from the board. So what we're going to do is put a replacement controller port board in the front of our Dreamcast today, but this is an upgraded one with a little surprise. So let's pop open the Dreamcast and see what we can do. So our controller port board came the other day in this lovely cardboard box from Modern Retro Gaming on eBay. I will link his listing in the description if he has any left. It's not that expensive and it's a nice easy swap. So let's pop open the Dreamcast and get this in. The first thing we need to do is pop out the 4 screws as usual. One is hidden underneath the modem, so just pop that off the side. The 4th screw is just there. Now with all that done, we can just pop the shell off the Dreamcast. So the new board we get will have a cradle there instead of a rechargeable battery that we put in this before. And what the problem is that I'm getting with this at the moment is the controller readings aren't working correctly in any of the ports, which means one of the components on here is failing. So what I'll do is repair this board in a later video, but for this one we're taking the board out, we're going to replace it with a new one. So all we need to do now is remove these 4 screws and we can remove the board. But first we will unplug the ribbon connector and the fan cable down here. Now it's just a case of popping out these 4 screws. And I think one of the threads on this Dreamcast shell is knackered because that screw's not budging, but this was a cheap shell. And this one here does not want to come out. So we'll give them a bit of persuasion. There we go. Come out, you little git. The thread in the 2nd screw there, the screw's fine, but the thread in the case is brown red. Dreamcast. So usually what you have to do is strip the rest of the Dreamcast down to get this out, but I've found a way to jimmy this board out, and I think it's just because of this cheap case. So we push the port backwards like that, and it lifts straight out. And there's a bit of tape that I put on my Dreamcast because I thought my really bad soldering, bearing in mind this is like the 10th attempt, so I had to blob the trace to get this to work. It's dreadful people, got to work on my soldering, but yes, we'll be repairing this board in the future. So somewhere inside this lovely package is our new controller port board. We've got instructions in there and a battery to pop in the battery carrier that's on it. Just pop this one open. Now this board has been modified. I'd love to do one myself, but my soldering skills are absolutely dreadful. Look, that's much better than me. So we're going to drop this straight in the Dreamcast and get to work setting it up. So we'll start off by removing the tape that I popped in here. That is no longer needed. So I've taken the tape off there. That was just a means to an end to stop my bad soldering job shorting out against the case there. So this new board should drop straight in the front just like the other one. Let's get the cables out of the way and wiggle this in. There we go, it's a tight fit but it's in. The cutouts in the board let us replace the screws we've taken out. I won't be putting this guy back in because the thread has gone on the case. So let's just zip that back up real quick. I just need to tidy up the wires and plug in the ribbon cable. I'll remove the one that's on there because that's new. I can use that as a spare. I'll just plug in my existing ribbon cable because I know it still works. sure to pop the power back in for the fan. There you go, little blighter. Right, now all that's done, we just need to drop the battery into the battery cradle so that our clock stays awake. And there we go. Now the board itself has LEDs on. What should happen when I power it on and I have the app on my phone to control it, as I should be able to change the colour of all the ports on the front of the Dreamcast, as well as the power LED there. So let's pop this back together, get the app on our phone and see what we can do. So remember, when you drop your screw in, if you rotate it anti-clockwise, you hear that click, that means the screw's dropped into the thread, and we can then zip that back up without damaging the case or any of the plastic inside. Trust me guys, in the long run it saves a lot of wear and tear on your systems. But before we do any of that, let's plug the Dreamcast in and make sure this works beforehand so that I can leave my feedback on eBay, because I haven't done that yet. So let's pop the lights off, plug this in, and see what's what. Don't forget, Nut's cave is getting darker. Yes. Pop this in the back of the Dreamcast and power it on. Ignore the lid, the hinge isn't brilliant. Cheap case. And there we go. By default it just lights up normally, and there's your ports when your case lit up. Got to sort that lid out. Let's get the software on our phone and see what we can do. Now the app you need to download is something called Duo Code Strip. He sent me a QR code to link there, but I'd rather search it because I've never trusted QR codes, to be perfectly honest. We've just got to install this on our phone. So we are now connected to our Dreamcast via Bluetooth. I won't bore you guys with pairing devices, as it's easy enough nowadays to do that. And all we need to do now to change the colour of the LED on the Dreamcast is simply press anywhere on this colour wheel, and we can change the LED colour accordingly. If that's not good enough for you, you can go down here to Style and choose from a range of different presets. The 7 colour crossfade is my personal favourite, as it matches the RGB in the Knots Cave. But there are strobing effects, gradual changes and all sorts of flashing lights you can change on your Dreamcast with that setting. One of my personal favourites, if you go down here and press microphone, you can turn your Dreamcast into a sound activated thingy. Well, should you want to. But yes, very nice upgrade. Look at that, just above the Sega Saturn there in the cabinet. It looks really, really nice. And like I said, matches the RGB. Just need to add some to my other consoles too. An upgrade I didn't realise I was going to have to do until my controller port failed, but worth it in the end, guys. Anyway, I'm going to go away now and play some Wipeout on the Dreamcast, because the new version came out a few days ago, and I'll be back with another video about that real soon, guys. Thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next Dreamcast video.